Welcome everyone to round 2 of October 9th, Star Wars Unlimited Locals Night over at Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. If you guys are looking to play some Star Wars Unlimited, check out Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana, 6 p.m. Thursday nights, $5 entry. You walk away with your promo pack and a pack of the current set. More packs are given if you place within the top 3 of the night. Anyways, in round number 2, I got a couple of new decks for you. One we have not seen in a long time. I don't even think we've even really featured much on this channel. Leia, Spark, Tarkintown against the one and only. You've seen him before, you know him before. Cal Force Blue. This player has been playing a lot of Cal Force Blue on this channel. But nonetheless, before we jump into game number 1, let's quickly discuss the decks. You know Cal Force Blue. It's just rest your opponent, beat down quick and fast, hot shot blasters, surprise strikes, just beat your opponent into the face. Once again, 𝐂𝐍𝐿 is on his front side states, tap them, use the force, your opponent has to arrest one of their units. He flips for 4/3/4. Again, he is very squishy on his backside because again, an open fire just immediately kills him right off the board. 3/4, and then on attack, your opponent has to arrest one of their units. So basically, your whole stick is again, yeah, while you can rest stuff, and he's really good at that, most of your stick is just to beat down your opponent using like Lenestra Rao, using hotshot blasters, using constructed lightsaber, using surprise strikes, waylays, anything like that, and of course having access to the force so that you can use like Lenestra Rao. You have all of that access to some good Force Blue units. But nonetheless, I mean, that's just what 𝐂𝐿 does. We've seen it before, folks. I'm not going to talk much more about 𝐂𝐿. We've seen this deck plenty of times on this channel. But a deck we have not seen in a long time, or probably not seen in some time. I don't even think I even did a like normal like video discussing my thoughts overall on this deck. Is Leia, Spark, Tarkintown. Leia Organa states on her front side, tap her, attack with a rebel unit. Once that attack is completed, attack with another rebel unit. She flips for 5. I believe she's a 4/6 or 3/6. I can't remember. Or no, a 3/5. I think she's a 3/5. She's not very strong. She has Restore 1. I think she has Restore on her backside, as well as, again, once she completes an attack, you may attack with another Rebel unit. So her whole shtick here is that the deck is that you're just playing Rebel Turbo. So your whole thing is Rebels. Everybody in your deck is Rebels, and you're just Rebel Turboing out everybody. So you swing with one Rebel, then you swing with another Rebel. You swing one Rebel, swing with another Rebel. The one problem with this deck is that you need to get your presence activate. So you need bodies to really do that. This player's deck is all about little bodies, so they're playing a lot of 1 and 2 cost characters. So that way, in the late games, they're just spamming bodies endlessly, so that they can always have multiple bodies for Leia to trigger off of. And Tarkintown, folks, still arguably a hated Spark Rebellion rare base that states on an epic action, you may deal 3 damage to a damaged and non-leader unit. So again, one-time use, but a lot of people have always complained about this. So this deck is just turbo beatdown, and we got the good old just Cal beatdown control strategy. By the way, I did mention in round number 1 that I went X2 in this event. This is actually my third. This is game 3. This is my second loss of the night. Was this? I just couldn't keep up with the pace of this deck. I think it had to go into 3 games, but nonetheless, I just couldn't keep up with Han Shadow Force Green with this strategy when it just spams endless amounts of bodies. Nonetheless, both these decks I think are going to be very still viable in the sec meta. They've got some new Rebels and some new stuff for this, like Nimix Manifesto and Marva Andor. So I think there's some new stuff that this deck can work with. I think this deck, I don't know if it really got anything new to really work with. It's still going to probably play a lot of what it was playing before. But enough said about that. Let's jump into game number 1. Here we go for game number 1. 𝐂𝐿 looks to be having the initiative here first as they finish up their side. No, Leia has the initiative first. We're going to go for an N1 Starfighter and something in a really bad glare there. Apologies, but I suppose it's probably an A-Wing at best. It looks to be the Red Squadron A-Wing here, because again, you're needing the Rebel tags. It could also be a Phoenix Squadron A-Wing, but I believe that is red, so that looks to be the, no, actually in the glare, I can just barely make out the image of it. Yeah, that's the Green Squadron A-Wing, the Raid 213 on the body. And then we're going to go for the Fleet Lieutenant to get a +2 to the attack on that A-Wing, allowing it to swing for 3 damage. Again, the N1 Starfighter can kill it off here if it wants to. So anyways, we're going to go for 3 damage on the Tarkintown here, and then we're going to go for the Falcon to immediately kill off the A-Wing here, taking 1 damage. But again, we'll just bounce the Falcon back to our hand, so the damage is quite pointless there because of Tarkintown. Now, we could have technically killed it off with Tarkintown, but the Leia player would have had to know that they didn't, not to have taken the initiative there. So we're going to bounce back the Falcon there. Again, Falcon's just really good at dodging out stuff like Tarkintown, because a lot of times you can easily just be able to swing in, hit your opponent, and then bounce it back because your opponent took the initiative, so they can't trigger like Tarkintown to kill it off. And then we're going to go for a partisan insurgent, and then we're going to have, of course, the Fleet Lieutenant, and then we're going to go for another, no, that's going to be the Red Squadron Bomber here. 𝐂𝐿 is going to flip as well, and then we're going to swing 𝐂𝐿. We're going to kill off the Fleet Lieutenant there, just so we don't have multiple rebels that can swing here in the board presence. We also claim the Force because of the Youngling Padawan as well, and again, 𝐂𝐿 on attack will be able to rest one of our opponent's active units. Not that it really matters with Leia. Most of the time, you are going to be able to swing with a lot of your guys and then give them that. And then, of course, we do have control and aggression units, so the partisan will be able to get raid 2. So we're going to swing in. We're going to kill off the Youngling Padawan. It looks like we're not going to trigger Leia's effect there to allow for 2 swings. And then we're going to go for Tarkintown to kill off the N1 Starfighter after it smashes into the bomber. We have Turret. We're going to go for Benthic 2 tubes, which on attack can give raid 2 to another aggression unit. We're going to go for BD1 to then give a +1 to Turret while as long as BD1 is on the board. And again, Turret does have the ability to defend himself because he does have the Force currently active. So even if you swung right now, like flip Leia for the 5 and then swing, the problem is then Turret just blocks out half the Leia attack. So Leia's 3/6. We're going to go for 𝐂𝐿. 𝐂𝐿 is swinging the base that is going to rest the Leia. We're going to go for the Fang Fighter in the sky, but that's going to really do nothing. By the way, the Fang Fighter doesn't have the Rebellion keyword. And then we're just going to swing the Yaddle. So right now, it looks to be in 𝐂𝐿's favor. Because again, Leia's good at spamming bodies, but the problem is right now that Turret is definitely going to stop you. And the problem is you have to deal with 𝐂𝐿. As long as 𝐂𝐿 is up on the board, every time he swings, he's basically going to be able to rest one object on your board. Now, it's not too bad because the Fang Fighter technically isn't a rebel, so Leia can't technically have 2 things swing that turn. So Leia is going to swing. We're going to go for Turret to reduce the damage coming onto him here. And then we're going to swing in the partisan there, and then we're just going to be able to kill off the Turret here. Oh, I forgot. Leia actually has raid 1, does not have restore 1. Does have raid 1. I think restore 1's on the Hoth, Leia Organa. So anyways, we're going to go for Yaddle to kill off Benthic, and then we're going to do 3 damage in the sky with the Fang Fighter. But again, I think honestly, the game is not going in favor of that. We're going to go Spark of Rebellion to remove the Guerrilla Attack Pod here, and then we're going to be able to give 2 experience tokens with Wing Leader. We're going to give those to the Leia here. Just try to insulate the Leia just a little bit. I think there's really going to be much you're going to be able to do with that Leia. Right now, you're down 10, and the ground has gotten a little out of hand. Again, BD1 is only a 1 damage character, so that's not much. So anyways, we're going to have BD1 to put 1 more damage onto Leia here, so that then we're just going to have the 𝐂𝐿 kill off the Leia here, just so we don't have the Leia swinging in with that extra 2 damage. And then we're going to go for the Falcon to kill off the Fang Fighter. And then again, like I said, we just bounce the Falcon back to our hand. And basically, there's nothing we can do much about it. The problem for the Leia deck is that they burn through their hand very quick, so a lot of times they will not have much of a hand presence as they go into that late game. But once you hit a certain point, you'll be able to easily ignore the fact that you don't need a hand. So anyways, we're going to go for the Yaddle. We're going to go for the Luke Skywalker to kill off that, and then we're going to go for the K2SO, and then come down there. We're going to deal 4 damage to the base, 2 damage to the Tarkintown base with Yaddle here, restore 1 off of that, and there's pretty much nothing I think this Leia player can really do that. Now that Luke's down on the ground, that is a 6/7 restoring 3, as well as Yaddle can give all Jedi restore 1. So technically, Yaddle swings first. Yaddle then gives a restore 1 to that. So anyways, Yaddle will just die here to the K2SO. There is Overwhelm as well, but it won't really matter. There can't be really any Overwhelm. As we see the constructed lightsaber go onto the Luke Skywalker. Now that Luke Skywalker is heroic, it does get restore onto that. So we're going to go for another K2SO. We're going to be able to deal 3 damage to our opponents based off of the death of the K2SO. And then we're going to go for the Forces with me to get 2 experience tokens to Luke. And then we're going to give it a shield as well. There's really no reason to really care much more about that. That Luke Skywalker is just out of hand here. We're just going to scoop up that there. The Cal Force Blue is going to get the aim number 1. Here we go, folks, for game number 2. Both our players are finishing up their resourcing here. Let's see if Leia Organa can come back here, as we see for an Insurgent coming down. We're going to go for the Youngling Padawans too, as well as get a good old force there. I really like the Youngling Padawans. A lot of times, if that's the only force you can bring down, it's really good, just because Vanestra Rao could then come down that turn as well, especially because sometimes you may need to burn the force. As we're going to go for the Insurgent, not so we don't take that rate 2-3 swing onto our body. And then, of course, we're going to be able to swing the Youngling Padawan. We also have Yaddle as well as Fighters for Freedom. Every time you play an aggression card, deal 1 damage to your opponent's base, which is pretty nice here. So we have Yaddle and the Younglings, as well as the Insurgent and the Fighters for Freedom, which both can swing until you can trigger Leia's effect as well. They're both rebels as well, so you can do that. So anyways, we're going to go for 4 damage, 3 damage on the Youngling Padawan, killing that off, and then we're going to deal 3 damage to our opponent's base through the use of the Fighters for Freedom. Then we're going to go for Yaddle. We're going to see what we want. We're going to go for other forces with me to give 2 experience tokens to Yaddle, and then should have a shield. Oh, okay, so we're going to knock out the shield to kill off the Insurgent, kill off the Fighters for Freedom, so you don't have to deal with that extra ping coming down. So we're going to go for another Insurgent. Again, both Insurgents do give each other raid 2, because technically there's another aggression unit on the board. We're going to go for then a Green Squadron A-Wing. We're not deciding on flipping Cal Kestis this turn, just kind of giving him some protection. Again, Cal Kestis is a very interesting one, because again, you're facing against a deck that does have aggression in it. They do have the ability to use like open fire or anything like that. Again, one flip a Cal, an aggression, open fire immediately kills off Cal Kestis, so you do have to be cautious of that. As we see the Yaddle kill off the other partisan, the other Insurgent as well. But again, there is a second one. Again, that one still gets raid, because there is the Green Squadron A-Wing is an aggression unit, so it can utilize by that. So let's kind of figure out what we would do here. We do have Leia that can swing 2 of our guys in, and we're going to go for the blue leader here. Blue leader is going to come down. We're going to be able to knock out the Yaddle here and survive with 1 health point left on us. As well as then we're going to go for Turret to melee guard, as well as we have the force here. So that does mean that Turret can save face here. We'll be able to reduce the damage, give our enemy -2 to their attack here as we flip the Leia again 3/6 raid 1. So if we do swing with that first turret, that does we'll only take 2 damage off of the Leia. So we're really going to decide on, we're going to go for the effect of Cal Kestis at it. So we're going to immediately be able to go Leia, swing in, and then Leia will be able to, first trigger of Leia will trigger, so that's going to remove that, take 2 damage on turret, and then the Insurgent is going to swing in, killing off turret. So anyways, we're going to swing Cal Kestis into Leia here to kill off Leia. We're going to go for Bamboozle. That's going to bounce back that should actually rest, technically. Bamboozle actually technically rests the Blue Squadron, and it removes, it removes the upgrades onto it, and technically Blue Squadron's a 3/3, so it actually kills it at the end of the turn, because its damage threshold's been cheated. As we're going to go for the Hotshot Blaster deal 5 damage to our opponent's base. We're going to go for red 3. That is red 5, and then there is red 3, so now all our guys have raid 1 on them as well, so that's really good. And as well as red 5 is going to be able to hit Cal Kestis and knock out Cal Kestis here on the attack, as long as the Cal player did not get initiative here first. But unfortunately, it looked like Cal did get initiative, which is good there, because red 5 actually was able to immediately kill off Cal here. Would have been immediately kill off Cal if they hadn't realized it. So anyways, we're just going to go for 3 damage onto our opponent's base here. Resting Cal's on attack skill, resting the red 3. We're going to go for the Fleet Lieutenant to allow for 6 damage coming in from the red 5, and then we're going to do the 2 damage onto a damaged unit here, killing off Cal Kestis off of the board here. Really nice there. Just get the board under control. We're going to go for the Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker can give something -6 because something didn't leave the board here. So we're going to be able to give at least one thing -6. We're just going to go for the red 3 here, giving that -6. It wouldn't really matter. Anyways, so then we're going to go through the 3 damage from that, and we're going to claim the initiative. We're going to go for a Battlefield Marine down here as well. Unfortunately, neither of those bodies actually can technically kill off this Luke Skywalker right now. And that Luke Skywalker is going to come in for 6 damage or get Hotshot Blasted as well, so that it can then swing immediately. Here we're going to go for, I just thought so. There's a Hotshot Blaster that's going to put 8 damage on my opponent's base here from the Luke Skywalker, restore 3 there. Oh, that is painful. And again, there's really no way I can really see an out for the Leia player here. They would get lucky maybe if they can out it. They may have to push for all their damage, but again, they need 18 damage on the board here. We're gonna go for Wing Leader. Wing Leader put through 2 experience tokens under the Fleet Lieutenant here. They are down to only 5 health points left. They are going to be able to go 𝐂𝐍𝐿 here. That does mean that they'll have to be able to rest one thing on the board state. So that's really becomes impactful what exactly you want to rest here. So instead, we maybe be going for something else. Maybe the Vanestra trigger here to withstand. Nope, we are going to decide to just to burn the force here for the 𝐂𝐍𝐿 effect. I would guess the A-Wing's the best choice here because it's a 1/3 and everything else is a 3/3. So I guess that's maybe the best choice. But again, a lot of them are 3s because technically they're rate 2 off of the A-Wing. So anyways, we're going to swing in 5 damage and then 3 damage. And then there is... So no, we're going to go swing 5 damage in from the Fleet Lieutenant into Luke Skywalker. Then we're going to go swing 3 damage from the space with Red 5, and then using Red 5's ability to knock out Luke Skywalker there. So we're going to go for the Vanestra, but unfortunately, because we don't have the force, it has to come in rested. But again, that is 3 damage coming out of our opponent's base. If they have a Hotshot Blaster, that's just a game right then and there. Again, typically you run 3 Hotshot Blasters. The big question is, did our opponent see the 3rd Hotshot Blaster, or are they going to be able to draw into the 3rd Hotshot Blaster? Because if they draw into either one of those, they can win the game here, right here, and then, because the Vanestra will be able to restand. By the way, that's the Vanestra art from, I think, the regionals that were regionals or sector qualifiers that were happening. So anyways, we're just going to go for the Constructed Lightsaber. There's really nothing we can do. Ooh, Fang Fighter removed the Constructed Lightsaber. That was a really good. I don't know if our opponent was holding that or they got that. Our opponent is just calculating the damage here because if they don't really have a way, I think they have a Yaddle and an N1 Starfighter left in their hand, which again, none of that is going to be able to help. Again, 𝐂𝐍𝐿, the Vanestra does have to swing in to get the Force trigger so that the 𝐂𝐍𝐿 can use its ability. We're going to go swing in. We're going to kill off the Battlefield Marine here to allow us to have at least 𝐂𝐍𝐿's effect. We're going to Tarkintown off of the Vanestra. We're going to go for the N1 Starfighter from the sky here. And then we'll probably be able to swing at least 2 bodies here. We're going to swing in the Wing Leader into that. We're going to go for the initiative here on 𝐂𝐍𝐿's side. And then we're immediately going to be able to attack with both of these guys here. And then deal 6 damage. We're going to go for another Fleet Lieutenant. I guess... Did they not decide to buff? Okay, so what they did is I guess they attacked with one guy, swinged out the Fleet Lieutenant to buff up another guy, and then swing with that one. So basically that's what they would. They just did it a little bit out of a sequence here. But Cal is now up on a back foot here a little bit. So anyways, Luke Skywalker to kill off the A-Wing here because it only gives a -3. But I don't really see much of a way for the 𝐂𝐍𝐿 player to win that. They're at 24. And then again, Leia's effect, 2 guys swings in. That is game. So Leia is able to force the almighty game number 3. Welcome, folks, to game number 3. Here we go. We're going to start off with an N1 Starfighter, and then we're going to go for a Sabine on the Leia side as well. So the space and the ground are right now covered by 3 damage points each. So I have to kind of figure out, again, this is really good. So we're going to go for the 3 damage from the N1 Starfighter. Coming it down, we're going to figure out what we want to do yet. If we want to fire with that Sabine here. We're going to actually go for our Fighters for Freedom coming down. We're going to go for a Millennium Falcon as well. Then 3 damage. That Falcon is just going to be such a nuisance to deal with, especially now that you know your opponent has it. I know a lot of people probably be happy that it isn't, and isn't in the format once rotation happens, unless of course it gets reprinted at like in a lawless time. But anyways, once again, remember you can pay 1 to keep it on the field, or it can bounce itself back to hand. So we are gonna pay the 1 here to keep it on the field. We're gonna go for K2 SOO, 1 damage on our opponent's base because we did play a red unit, but I think they missed. No, now they remember the trigger. Once again, fires for free. Anytime you play an aggression card, your opponent takes 1 damage to the base. We're gonna swing in for 6 damage there because again, the Sabine does get its effect to deal 1 damage to a unit or to a base on the attack. Anyway, N1 Starfighter is coming in and dealing another 3 here. We're going to go flip for the 𝐂𝐿 to attack here. Coming down the base, we're going to go for the Vanestra. We're basically attacking with the 𝐂𝐿 so we can basically get the extra. We can get the force, and then we can burn the force with the Vanestra. And then Vanestra swinging again, gaining the force again. Basically, that was a really good turn there. That's a hyper-aggressive turn. I just don't see the Leia player coming back from that. That was way too hyper-aggressive, way too fast. Even if you swing K2 SO into the 𝐂𝐿 here, there's really not much you can do. I mean, that Vanestra is going to be able to kill you off fast. I mean, you're dealing with a lot of things. Anyways, we're going to swing K2 SO into 𝐂𝐿 here. The question is, what is our second rebel going to be? We're going to go swing in for 3 damage into Vanestra off of Fighters for Freedom. Then we're going to spin. We're going to go for the, oh no, the force is with me to gain 2 tokens and then gain a shield there, dealing 5 damage to our opponent's base. I do not see a winning condition here at all, folks. Anyways, 3 damage, and that is game. Sorry there, folks. I had to do a quick editing there because it immediately just spanned right out back to the front of thing. But yes, the Leia was not able to sustain into game number 3. While I was able to force game number 3, unfortunately, that round, the turn 4 flip off of 𝐂𝐒 to immediately swing, deal 3 damage, and then immediately play out the Venestra, and then restand the Venestra, and then swing again, was just too devastating for the Leia. Leia is a pretty fun deck, don't get me wrong. I really like what it can do. It's a really cool deck of just being able to attack with multiple units at once. And it's a tribal strategy, so all your stuff is rebels, so all you guys have to have the rebel tag so you can really utilize it. But still, I don't know about Tarkintown. I don't think it really did much in this game. I think we saw it a couple of times, but I think it did stuff a little too late. While it did help out with like a couple of units to get units off the board, I think round 2 really showed the power of what this deck can do. And with that, guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments on the gameplay. If I missed anything, your thoughts on these decks going into the SEC meta. Are you interested in trying out either of these decks? Let me know all of that down in the comments. And while you're commenting, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you can notify my videos go live for you. And we'll see you next time. I'm Mom Dragons TCG.